You're recording.
Because it does a countdown, and then when the one goes away.
Is it
So
recording
it's
now?
recording right now.
Oh.
And
What's douche got want besides criminals out of jail?
Well, first, can I say this is Sundry Weekend News
Yeah. Do your thing.
for this weekend of August 8th and 9th. And here is Cowboys Wire for yesterday, August 8th. Now, you can talk
Prescott's
about
$31.4 million at risk? What? How? Oh my gosh. That seems crazy. Quarterback vocal in support of condemned man.
What does that have to do with his money?
I don't know. I guess they talk about them both because it's two people who wrote it, so they combined it so they could all get on the same thing. That's why they did their byline thing.
Do you want me to click on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to know what's risking his money besides
I can already see that one of these
the economy.
writers doesn't know grammar.
Oh. What'd she say?
I think they're dudes.
Asa? A-S-A?
Asa?
Asa?
Asa's a man's name.
That's a dude's name?
As far as I know.
He got beat up a lot in school.
Okay. If the off-season had went according to plan, I don't think that's right, is it? Isn't it had gone according to plan?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I guess
nitpicking.
I've heard it both ways. The right way and the wrong way.
If the off-season had gone according to plan, the Dallas Cowboys would have faced the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Hall of Fame game on national television Thursday night. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
It would have been nice.
Steelers and Cowboys, always good.
Because it was going to be...
Return of the Big Ben Roethlisberger.
It was going to be that game and us against the Chiefs, which would have been pretty sweet. A pretty awesome preseason.
Yeah, with that Steelers defense, that would have been a bitchin' game. Well, not really, because it's a preseason game. Nobody shows up to play that.
Fucking Players Union. Yeah, but it's bad for those players that would have gotten to possibly shine and show their stuff.
Nowhere to be found.
But a football-like substance was nowhere to be found.
Did they really need the drug reference? I mean, that seems a little racist. 73% black is the NFL.
No.
And he was like, football-like substance.
No,
football paradigm.
You're the one that's being racist in this instance.
Only because
you're reading
Antifa
things into
and the Democrats told me to. Hey, Biden wanted to know if that homeboy was on fucking cocaine.
Yeah.
Are you a druggie? Do you get tested for the cocainage?
Okay, I'm gonna read now.
Fine.
The deadline has passed for players to opt out of the 2020 season. That's good. And the Cowboys finished. The Cowboys finished with 3 total withdrawals. DeMarcus.
Go.
You don't have to react over every little thing.
I was. I'm just very...
DeMarcus Lawrence had reportedly given opting out a thought, but the Pro Bowl defensive end will remain with the team for training camp.
Yeah, Jerry called him and said, motherfucker, look at your contract. Look how much fucking money I gave you. You best be out here and play. And you best be real nice to Mr. McCarthy. Or I'm going to come down there and I'm going to be Jerry.
Are there any Cowboys on the roster who can make a historic leap from undrafted to star the way Tony Romo did years ago? Dak Prescott followed Romo in succession, but is forging his own path financially and off the field. Did the NFL pull the wool over franchise-tagged players' eyes when it comes to COVID protocols? What does that mean?
Gasp. I don't know. And they don't clarify, do they?
This is the Cowboys news.
Yeah, but
no, it's going to go through chapters, and we're going to get back to that.
Oh.
Tank Lawrence opts in. Cowboys COVID list stops at 3. The deadline for NFL players to opt out. Yes, I said that already.
You mean Dak Prescott's party didn't cause a COVID outbreak? I thought the news said it did. And they were all like, well, that ain't going to happen again. Shit, we're going to franchise that motherfucker. Oh,
I think this means that the opt-out list stops at 3 because it was...
No, COVID list stops.
So we have 3 for each?
3 people test for COVID.
But it said up here that 3 had opted out.
Really?
The Cowboys finished with 3 total withdrawals.
Yeah, cut them bitches.
So it's 3 of each. Yeah, I know, right?
That's the worst idea ever. I want to opt out because I'm concerned about my safety. I don't want to get the flu or the COVID. So I'm going to opt out, okay? What is the worst possible thing you can do for your financial
I
future?
think supposedly some of
You
the
got
reasoning was that they didn't want to endanger their families and that like they have kids and stuff. But in that case, you just
in
need to know
which
the
case-
facts about the disease.
The kids aren't gonna...
Yeah, the kids aren't really at risk.
But here's the deal. What is the worst possible thing you can do if you work in a merit-based industry?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to show up for the next year, and if you do well, you won't miss me, and all that money you spend for me, you won't miss dropping that either.
Yeah, there's a reason things haven't been going so well for Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Didn't they both do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell got his money.
Yeah, but he's not
he
really
got stuck
winning.
in a system that's not so much helping him.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's who's going to pay you, the desperate team that really needs that spark. But the problem is that desperate team that really needs that spark generally doesn't have the playbook
So he's
that benefits a star player like that, or they don't have the other elements of the team that benefits a star player like that.
so he sacrificed some of his merit for his money.
No.
I know
His
not
merit.
his merit, but his glory. You know, his wins,
Yeah,
his
and that's
ability to make things happen.
And he should have definitely not done that. You gotta realize, these people, they get these agents. They're telling them that they're worth more money than they are, but they don't realize that you're only worth as much as you'll be paid, right? But to get really big bucks, you gotta go to really bad teams that have that kind of cap space. So they go and get their generational wealth, but then they have to dwell in mediocrity. Or at the bottom of the barrel. No matter how good Le'Veon Bell is, and he is a great running back. Running backs have a short shelf life because they take 35-mile-per-hour car wrecks 30 times a game for 17 games, or 17 weeks, 16 games, minimum. That has a shelf life. That's like saying a UFC fighter can fight from age 18 to 25 without any injury. Not so much, not if they're fighting every week. And they're not. So these guys, they need to realize, yeah, I got generational wealth. But most of them, if you get drafted in the first round, you have generational wealth. Boom, handed to you. First round pick, especially like in the first, like, did Joe Burrow get like multiple millions, over $10 million, just because he got picked first in the draft?
I don't remember.
That's just based on potential. He's got 4 years to just, he could be the worst player in football, and he's still going to make, how many digits is $1 million?
7?
8 digits.
Oh, so more than $1 million.
If I could get that for 4 years worth of work, I would definitely do that.
And speaking of money, franchise tag players have no real guarantee that they'll get their guaranteed money.
Yeah, because you need fans. You need an economy. You have to be able to sell everything. So you have to be able to sell seats. And guess what? There's no season tickets this year.
Well, the Cowboys still are the most expensive, the most valuable
Most valuable
franchise. Most valuable franchise.
They're not the most expensive
I
franchise.
changed it. I
Most
changed
expensive
it.
would be the Chargers, I think.
The most valuable. Anyway, guaranteed salaries count for however long a contract is for. While players with multi-year deals will see their guaranteed money secured if the NFL shortens the 2020 season, without future years to recoup the guaranteed dough, Prescott and other tagged players may end up losing out on part of their salary.
Truth. Guess you should have signed the fucking deal, Dak. Douche Prescott.
That ridiculously big deal. Exclusive. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott calls for release of Black Death Row inmate Julius Jones.
What's the Black Death Row? Is there there's just a Black Death Row? It can't be just, I mean, is there a White Death Row and a Black Death Row?
The way you're saying Death Row makes me think that would make a good name, like Jethro, only Death Row.
Death Row Toll. Death Row Toll. He dead.
Prescott broke a multi-year silence on divisive issues earlier in the summer when he came out in support of the end of police brutality and racial injustice.
Multi-year silence on divisive issues? Oh, so ever since he's been famous, he's just kept his mouth shut.
He was smart for a while.
Because George Floyd died of an overdose.
Because a criminal died.
Because a criminal died. Oh, that's police brutality, even though that dude is so getting off. Mm-hmm. All of them are getting off. As soon as that body camera footage came out, the transcripts were already bad enough to show.
And that's not to say that police brutality does not exist and should end, but there's really not that much racial injustice.
Let's think about
it. There's
10
pretty
million
much
arrests a year.
No racial injustice.
There's less than 1 million cops in the country.
It's all imagined and blown out of proportion.
There's like 10
when
million
there's tiny little
arrests.
molehills.
And of those 10 million arrests, last year, anywhere from 9 to 14, depending on where you get the number, ended poorly for an unarmed black person. 9 out of 10 million. 14 out of 10 million. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on.
Now he's joined the fight to right a perceived wrong with questionable evidence, sentencing an Oklahoma man to his death.
Questionable evidence.
It's so hard to get people sentenced to death these days. How can there possibly be questionable evidence?
That dude was like late 70s. He's been there for a long time.
Okay.
And quite possibly
I don't understand
he was
why
not even there when the murder happened.
Death sentences last so long.
Because the appeals process is too lengthy. I think that, and in his case, since there was no like eyewitnesses, that appeals process is going to take a shit ton longer. But I'm with Ron White on this one. If you got 3 people saw what you done did, hey, skip the appeals process. If you have 3 people.
But that's not the case in this case?
No.
Okay.
This dude, he might not have even been there. I don't know. They had a documentary on it. And it's compelling evidence, but they did a documentary on that, what's that? Find a killer or find a... Catch a
killer?
What's that Netflix thing? They had compelling documentary on that, but then I actually looked into it and turns out, oh yeah, that motherfucker did it. Straight up. That's no, like, circumstantial evidence this, circumstantial evidence that. No, there's a lot of stuff they omitted from that To Catch a Killer, or Catch it.
That sounds right.
Catch a Killer? I don't know. Anyway, from that documentary that was like, oh, the cops were shady. No, you actually look at the actual evidence and the actual investigation, and any reasonable person is like, yeah, those motherfuckers did that shit.
But again, you're not talking about this case.
No, that guy, he might actually be innocent because it's Oklahoma, and it was Oklahoma in the 70s, and that's like Texas in the 70s. If you got rural enough, the black guy did it. That was just the way it was. I mean, that shit changed a lot once, I think it's cocaine might have turned the tide on that. I don't know. Something happened in the 80s, or no, that was just all the old guard, like all the oldest cops just retired. So you had people who grew up in the 70s or grew up in the 80s, and they started taking over all the police departments, and all that just dwindled away. All that old guard shit. The guys who've been sheriffs since 1922.
So what you're saying is racial injustice pretty much ended decades ago.
No. I'm saying that only Democrats are racist now.
Dallas Cowboys tweeted...
And they admit it.
With a picture that said, Media Day and fire.
Who's that homeboy with the long hair? Fucker
I
thinks
don't
he's
know.
Cole Beasley.
I was thinking he looks a little like Cole Beasley.
A little like Cole Beasley? Why are you gonna knock on his size now?
I'm not.
Could be big like Cole Beasley, but Cole Beasley's not big.
This dude over here looks scary.
I miss Cole Beasley. Who's that?
I don't know.
Oh, that's Ha Ha Clinton Dix.
Oh, Dix. Okay.
Ha Ha Clinton Dix. We've made fun of his name for years. Now he's a cowboy, and I love it.
I could see the Dix part, but I couldn't remember Clinton Dix. I couldn't remember what could go before Dix.
Clinton Dix.
Yeah, he's scary looking. He's probably...
Yeah, he's a beast. He is a scary looking motherfucker.
Okay. 2020 NFL predictions. Cowboys and Steelers among 2019 non-playoff teams who will make it in this year. Every year, multiple non-playoff teams from the previous year go on to make the playoffs. Follow the link to learn why the Cowboys are one of the most popular picks to bounce back and make the postseason in 2020.
I don't see that for the Cowboys.
Because we have a great team.
Okay, well, we have a shitty quarterback.
He's
we
not
had the Cowboys.
shitty.
Okay, we had the Cowboys. No injuries.
Yeah.
Firing on all cylinders. The number 4 offense in the land. Firing on all cylinders, no injuries.
Aren't we ranked higher than 4 this year?
And we could not... No, last year.
Yeah, but this year, aren't we ranked even higher than 4?
We haven't even started this year.
Yeah, but predicted.
Yeah, we're predicted, yes. But at the same time, last year, win or go home. Win or go to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We had the number 4 offense. Mm-hmm. With no injuries.
Well, by the time we got to the end of the season, I don't think we had the number 4 offense.
We did.
What?
Overall, at the end of the season.
That's crazy.
Our record. Talk. Our record sucked because we didn't have a quarterback who knows how to win games. All we had to do was beat Carson Wentz.
That's what I've been saying.
We had to do was beat Carson Wentz and the Eagles.
He has good stats, but he doesn't actually produce much.
We get into the playoffs.
That doesn't mean that he's shitty, though.
By beating Carson Wentz and the Eagles. And the Eagles had Carson Wentz, a few lawn chairs, and maybe a sofa. Everybody else on that team, that injury bug hit that team so bad that they had almost no stars. And yet, they beat the shit out of Dallas and went into the playoffs to lose in the first round. We could not even beat that team with all of our guys healthy, except for Van Der Esch. But that's defense.
Reggie Robinson, perfect fit as Cowboys secondary works to figure out identity. I already read this.
Yeah. Steelers are definitely going to the playoffs. They have a quarterback this year.
The Cowboys' 2020 draft class was loaded with talent and value. One of the more overlooked draft picks, Reggie Robinson, has a serious chance to contribute as a rookie and beyond. Learn more about the Cowboys' new defensive back from Tulsa.
I want to talk more about the Steelers. I don't give a shit about the defensive back from Tulsa.
I give a shit about our defense. So do you.
Yeah. I give a shit about the Steelers' defense that almost got into the playoffs last year without a quarterback. And I think Duck Hodges should definitely be Babe's backup. And I think that, what's his douche? The dude who got his ass kicked by his own helmet? Rudolph.
Oh, yeah, Rudolph.
Yeah, whatever the hell his name is. Rudolph. Whatever. He should get cut because he's a piece of shit.
I can't remember his name.
He might not. He probably didn't say anything, but you don't get in fights with giants. And also, if you get your helmet taken off and you get beat with your own helmet, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm really glad this isn't following the other guy around. Didn't he just get a really good contract?
Oh, Myles Garrett?
Yeah, Myles
Garrett. He got banked.
Yeah.
Being next Tony Romo will be difficult for Cowboys undrafted rookies. You
without
goddamn
the
right.
Preseason.
Because there's only one Tony Romo. They should be not looking to be the next Tony Romo. Because we don't need another Tony Romo.
They should be looking to be the next them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word, Cotton.
Tony Romo is one of the greatest undrafted rookies in NFL history.
Which is true facts.
Hear from Romo.
But also, in the quarterback room, we don't have any undrafted free agents. So ain't nobody going to be next Tony Romo. Now, somebody could be a winner like Tony Romo if a certain douche Prescott has to take a day off. And Andy Red Rifle Dalton gets out there because he has, like Jason said, he has no pressure on him. He'll go out there and sling it like a gunslinger, and he will make us a lot of points because he's a really good quarterback. Go on. Proceed.
Hear from Romo, as well as other famous undrafted Cowboys, on their experiences early in their career and how they think this unique offseason will impact these new players.
Most of them will
badly.
Tweet. Bob Lilly. Love that guy.
Throwback Thursday. August 2nd, 1980. Bob Lilly, Mr. Cowboy, a 7-time All-Pro defensive tackle, became the first Dallas Cowboys player to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And that is another reason why I'm pissed off the Hall of Fame. Bob Lilly, first time.
Yeah?
Yeah, but you see, it's really hard for Cowboys to get into the Hall of Fame. Well, we got some badass Cowboys not even getting glimpses. Darren Woodson should be in the Hall of Fame like 3 times. He's a 3-time world champion. That alone. Not to mention the fact that he was bad son of a bitch. Still is, but I'm not playing. But Darren Woodson, one of the greatest safeties of all time.
Is there some sort of untalked about perception of Cowboys privilege?
Yep. It's talked about a lot every time the Hall of Fame class comes around, and guess what? I think it took like a whole bunch of years for Roger Staubach to get in. I don't even know if Troy Aikman was a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think the only first ballot, like as soon as he was eligible, that got in was Emmett. I might be wrong on that. But that's because he was the all-time leading rusher in the NFL. Which Adrian Peterson is saying he wants to catch that record. Yeah, nah. He's going to have to play till he's like 48 to catch that record. And ain't going to work for a running back. I know he took some time off with some injuries and some legal drama. But, now, sorry, bro. You are not catching that record. Not with the Deadskins. I'm sorry. What is it? The Washington football team.
Oh, I just call them the team formerly known as the Redskins on here.
Oh, that's just too respectful. They're the Deadskins. Always have been, always will be.
Mailbag.
It's like Philadelphia.
Dividing up the touches on offense? In the latest edition of Mailbag, Cowboys writers answer fan questions that revolve around the offense. Can there be too much talent on one offense?
Yes.
Does CeeDee Lamb need to
Have
bulk
you
up?
seen the Browns? And does CeeDee Lamb need to bulk up?
Does CeeDee Lamb need to bulk up to have success against NFL corners?
Well, yes.
Well, if he did that, then he'd be slower.
No.
Wouldn't he?
Look at Tariq Hill. You saw how that dude spent the COVID lockdown? He
Did I?
turned it. If you haven't, then you haven't been paying attention.
I don't know.
Tariq Hill, he's just clocking in at 1% body fat, and he is faster than he's ever been, which is nearly impossible. The problem is, he's going to find out very, very quickly that if he doesn't put on about 11% more body fat,
He's going to get injured?
yeah. First hit, he's going to break. You need body fat to keep you durable.
Nick Eatman and Johnny Oping do their best to answer each question. The Cowboys in the NFL lost more than just a sloppy exhibition game. It seems unthinkable that the Cowboys and the Steelers were supposed to already have a preseason game under their belt. For the Cowboys and all the changes they endured, this preseason would have been more beneficial than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to develop a rapport with
They have a new
their
coach.
Yeah.
Sloppy exhibition game. It wouldn't have been sloppy. No, Mike McCarthy in charge. That dude's a yinzer. He's all about, execution properly and all that shit. Yeah, it's easy to get lazy when you got an Aaron Rodgers on the field. But at the same time, people forget that before that, we had a Brett Favre. Before that, he was just, in the backgrounds, waiting in the wings with Alex Smith and, I don't know, a few other people. But as far as Green Bay goes, just his tenure in Green Bay, yes, he had Brett Favre and he had Aaron Rodgers. But you don't get average 10-win seasons and multiple playoff berths if you aren't clean and clear and crisp. We saw that with the damn near decade we'd had with the clapper. Jason Garrett, the clapper.
Why is he the clapper?
Because he claps all the fucking time.
Oh.
Remember? He's always clapping.
I didn't notice.
Really?
Did it bother you?
Yes, very much so.
I didn't notice.
It was my only complaint about him for the longest time because I was like, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process, because this is how you build a dynasty, blah, 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 blah. Told myself over and over again because it took 6 years for, Landry to get his shit together.
Okay, I can sort of see in my mind's eye him clapping. It's the way
He
he shows
clapped all the time.
appreciation. It's the way he showed appreciation for something good on the field.
He would clap for bad things too. Like, it's okay, guys. It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that interception or that pick six. Don't worry about that fact that they just scored on us. Hey, let's get back in the game. Blah blah
Okay,
blah.
well, it didn't bother me.
I was like, trust the process, because Tom Landry needed 6 years to start winning. But then, after that 6 years, he went on a tear and went 20 years. 7, 8, 9. Over 20 years without a losing season. 20 consecutive division titles. 5 trips to the Super Bowl. 2 rings. Fucking Terry Bradshaw. Why do you think I don't like the Steelers?
Why?
Because the Steelers are the reason we don't have 4 rings. Terry fucking Bradshaw. Fucking blonde bomber.
Coaching turnover could attract turnover magnet Donovan Wilson to Cowboys rotation. Cowboys safety Donovan Wilson hasn't gotten much opportunity yet at the pro level, but the former Aggie is hungry to make his mark on the Cowboys this season.
I'm from Texas, and I root for all the Texas teams. Who the fuck is Donovan Wilson?
Apparently, he's a turnover magnet.
I know he's an Aggie, too.
Yeah.
He's a turnover magnet.
Yeah, you don't root for the Aggies. Did you just say you root for all the Texas teams?
I do.
You don't
I
root for
do
the Aggies.
root for the Aggies when
Oh,
they're
that was the
not
last
playing
one.
a Texas team. Wait, what's that bottom one?
That was not part of this. Confidence rankings.
Oh, why Cowboys should win the NFC East? Oh, because we're stacked with total talent. Why we won't? Dak Prescott.
Maybe he'll get the COVID and we'll have Dalton going back.
I was not happy with him when he first showed up. And then we went, 13-3?
That sounds
But
right.
then they didn't give the team back to Romo and we lost in the playoffs. We're like, this is now Dak Prescott's team. No. You could have thrown Romo on that team, and Romo would have just taken us all the way to the Super Bowl.
Quite possibly.
Because the full season that he did prior to that, before the 2015 injury, he was runner-up for the MVP of the NFL. And the only reason he lost it was because popularity contest. Because they missed that call in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers won MVP, and Tony Romo didn't. Which, hey, Aaron Rodgers has been injured, and his team didn't go 2-15 or 2-14. Romo goes down. We win 2 games in a whole season. Who's the most valuable player in that scenario? But no, MVP, Pro Bowl, that's a popularity contest now. And because a couple of bad plays early in his career, it just put a stigma on Romo. And people don't realize that he's the best Cowboy to ever don the star. Quarterback-wise. I mean, his playoff record is not as good as Troy Aikman. But
for a long time, he had a shitty defense and a shitty
Roger
O-line.
Staubach, but he does have more fourth quarter comebacks than Captain Comeback himself, Roger Staubach. And it's just a testament to how bad the teams were that he had to fucking play on. and how bad the coaching was. If Jerry had fucking paid Sean Payton more money, I mean, he was already getting head coach money as our offensive coordinator, but then he was told he had to wait another year of Bill Parcells, and instead of waiting that year, he's like, you know what, the Saints are going to pay me a same amount of money, but I get to be head coach over there. And he went to the Saints, got a Super Bowl under his belt, and he fought hard to get Romo over there. If he'd got Romo over there would have been no Drew Brees over there, and I guarantee there would have been they'd have been raining Super Bowls in New Orleans. Because Sean Payton, Tony Romo, same college. They had a rapport. They loved each other. The only reason he was a Cowboy was because of Sean Payton. So there was a lot of they worked together. I mean, all of his fabulous first games and how do you turn the ball over 6 times and still win the game? Oh, because your offensive coordinator is Sean Payton and your quarterback is Tony Romo. How do you turn over a ball 6 times and still win the game? That's how you do it.
I thought you said it was 7 times.
Well, I'm going to go with 6.
Okay. Cowboys Van Der Esch healed and ready for a move to MLB, on-field leader.
Middle linebacker.
Oh, okay.
There's the OLB, and then there's the MLB.
Okay.
And there's also the strong side linebacker, and then the weak side linebacker, and the mic. The mic is, whenever the quarterback's yelling, Mike 54, Mike 54.
Okay.
He's naming the middle linebacker. He's saying, that is the leader of this defense, and he's going to kill me if you don't get him.
Okay. So that used to be Sean Lee?
Yes, but Sean Lee
is going to mostly be on the sidelines.
Was breakable. So they actually moved him to outside linebacker, weak side linebacker, on the outside. So he would line up on the side that the play was generally not going to go to.
But he still always plays like the lead linebacker.
And he's an on-field coach. He's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a high football IQ. I mean, even Phillip Rivers says he's the best player he's ever played against. And Phillip Rivers played against a lot of good players. And he's only actually played against the Cowboys, I think, once with Sean Lee. That's a pretty big impact to leave. He thought that was like the best chess game he ever had.
Cool.
That's impressive.
Dallas Cowboys linebacker Leighton Van Der Esch had a picture-perfect rookie season as he finished 3rd in the NFL in tackles and received a Pro Bowl nod.
Yep. The Wolf Hunter.
And then he got injured, and then now people are supposedly doubtful of him, but
he's got his neck fixed. It's all good now. He's not worried about his neck anymore.
I know.
And I gotta say, the Wolf Hunter, without fear again, is gonna be a beast.
Oh.
Put him back there with Jalen Smith. Smith being able to actually put his foot down. That the drop foot was his problem because he didn't feel when his foot was on the ground.
Oh yeah.
It was the nerve damage.
And that's fixed.
Knee. Well, it's either fixed or he's figured out a way to play it because he's really, really good.
It didn't seem like you had a problem before anyway.
Well, the thing is, when you don't feel your foot on the ground, you don't know when you're pivoting, and you
could hurt
open
your
knee, ankle, all that. There's a drop foot issue, and sometimes it never heals, right? Which is why it was a big risk when we drafted him in the 3rd round or 2nd round. But we stuck.
Tank Lawrence opts in. Cowboys COVID list stops at 3. The NFL, like the other recently restarted major sports, offered players an option to opt out should they not want to play in the upcoming season for blah, blah, blah health reasons.
You know what happened there?
Huh.
Tank was considering opting out of the season because of concerns about his, young child about to be born. And that was making the rounds. Yeah, all of a sudden, an article came out that said, "Is trading Tank the way to go to get the missing pieces to get to the Super Bowl?"
I saw that.
As soon as trade discussion dropped on the headlines, all of a sudden Tank's like, "No, boy, I'm playing. No, man, I'm there."
Then there's this thing about that Donovan Wilson Aggie dude again.
Screw that guy. I don't even know that guy. Why is there a corn cob under my pillow?
Must be Max's.
It obviously is Max's, but it's just weird. I'm sitting here and all of a sudden I'm like, what is that cold thing under my arm?
Gross.
Oh, it's so gross.
Who's this dude? Rico Dowdle can make Cowboys rush attack four-headed monster. I've never heard that name in my life.
He must be one of them undrafted rookie bitches. Wants
so.
to, can make.
Wants to and can. That comma means and in this case.
And can make Cowboys rush attack four-headed monster. Wait.
Are the other heads DeMarcus Lawrence?
Oh, Darren Woodson had COVID.
Who are the other heads?
And, huh?
Nah, never mind.
Wait, Cowboys, let's see.
Rushers. That would be
Zeke?
the ones that... What? Oh, rush attack. I was thinking...
Silly.
Yeah.
Zeke?
Pollard.
I
don't know the third.
Maybe Prescott. Except Prescott never uses his legs.
Oh, he does sometimes.
Almost never. But Darren Woodson had COVID? I did not know that.
Like I was in a car crash. Cowboys
Which
legend Darren
he would
Woodson.
know about because he's a fucking safety.
Details COVID battle.
He was a safety, a better safety than Roy Williams. And Roy Williams was a hard hitter.
How old is he?
Oh, Darren?
Yeah.
Let's see. He would have been in his 30s, late 20s, 30s, and then 90s. So
40 to 50?
yeah, ish. Probably 40.
Okay.
Something.
So getting up there where it can make you feel really bad, but likely not to kill you.
Well, allegedly it affects the darker green football players a little differently.
Reggie Robinson, perfect fit as Cowboys secondary, works to figure out identity.
Reggie Robinson? Oh, he's a safety or cornerback? Let me see.
Wait. Cornerback.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to have to fight for time. And also, isn't Trayvon Diggs?
He's been practicing with his brother.
Yeah, isn't he, well, that's going to make him pretty awesome. Stephon Diggs pretty good. I mean, is he winning?
I don't know.
His brother?
I don't know.
I can't wait for the Bills game. Will we play the Bills next season? Because that could be interesting.
Cool.
Like, hey, yo, go cover your brother. If he gets a catch, you're cut. Like, wait, what? Hold up.
Elliott defiantly rejects idea Cowboys wide receiver trio will steal his touches.
Oh, yeah. It's all about ball distribution, and McCarthy knows that. I mean, he's never had a rushing team. He's always been pass heavy and all that.
Well, Elliott even catches passes.
Yeah, so Elliott's gonna get passes.
Yeah, I'm on the train that I don't know if I'm the only one on this train, but I say that all three receivers and Elliott can all have 1,000-yard seasons.
Jerry's not an idiot.
What do you think of that?
I think that would be pretty fucking awesome. Except that 1,000-yard season for Zeke would be kind of crappy.
Oh.
Unless it's receiving, and then he got 3,000 more yards.
Yeah.
On
Well,
the
I'm
ground.
just saying, if all three of our receivers have great seasons like that, like Cooper, I think it was saying that they could do, then they're going to be
Cooper
afraid.
And Gallup got 1,000 yards.
They're going to be
season.
afraid of all the receivers, so Elliott will in turn get more yards for himself.
And Jarwin was 8th in the NFL targeted. last year. So, as far as tight ends go. So, if his game actually improves, if we just start throwing up points and just put the hammer down and just crush teams like the Patriots did that one year, where they were just running up the score, then yeah, we could have a whole bunch of 1,000-yard people.
Well, we don't have Garrett anymore, and he is the one that always quashed that. He wanted to make it
and
nice.
McCarthy knows that Jerry wants wins. Jerry wants Super Bowls. So McCarthy's going to go balls out, get as many points as possible because you can't lose if your defense sucks as long as you put up 60 points a game.
That would be cool.
Except for, yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I still remember the Colts back when they were on their undefeated streak and they come downtown to face the Cowboys and everybody's like, oh, you're going to lose. And it ended up being 51-48.
Oh.
And everybody blamed Romo. They're like, bro.
Yeah, that's the defense.
Homeboy put up 48 points and lost. And yeah, it was the fourth worst defense in the history of the NFL that year. And Romo took all the hate. It's like, what the fuck, man? But
these last two headlines are really old. NFL sets training camp dates for Cowboys and charts course for on-time season. They've had that in this bottom list of headlines like almost every day for the last couple of weeks.
There's really not a lot of sports.
I know, it's so annoying. I don't really understand what this means. Cowboys won't profit much as NFL adds COVID cap space to 32 teams. I haven't heard anything else about any COVID cap space. Of course, I've never clicked on it, but I don't really want to know about more COVID stuff.
They're anticipating the losses that they're going to take by having a crappy season, and they're saying, okay, we were on track to make X amount of money, but because of COVID and because of all this government intervention and no season tickets and all that stuff, basically the minimum we're going to make is this amount, and that's what they did.